The fluorescent lights of the hospital corridor cast harsh shadows across Emma, Chen's face as she stared at the adoption papers in her trembling hands. At 38, she had conquered Wall Street, built a tech empire worth billions, and graced the cover of Forbes 3 times. But none of that mattered now. The doctors had just told her what she'd feared most. She would never carry a child of her own. The diagnosis felt like a door slamming shut on the one dream money couldn't buy. She folded the papers slowly, her perfectly manicured nails catching the light, and walked out into the cold November air. The city rushed past her, taxis honking, people laughing, lives continuing as if hers hadn't just shattered. Emma pulled her cashmere coat tighter and headed toward her office, where at least spreadsheets and quarterly reports made sense. The coffee shop on Fifth Avenue was her usual stop, a brief moment of normalcy in her meticulously scheduled days. She was reaching for the door when she heard it, a small voice, barely above a whisper. "Excuse me, miss?" Emma turned to find a little girl, no more than 7 years old, standing beside the entrance. Her brown hair was tangled, her clothes 2 sizes too big, and her sneakers had holes worn through the canvas. But it was her eyes that stopped Emma cold. Huge, dark eyes that held an ocean of sadness no child should know. "Yes?" Emma's voice came out softer than she intended. The girl fidgeted with something around her neck, a tarnished silver necklace. "I was wondering if you could be my mom, just for one day." The request was so unexpected, so achingly innocent, that Emma felt her carefully constructed walls begin to crack. "Sweetheart, where are your parents?" "My mommy's in heaven," the girl said matter-of-factly, though her lower lip trembled. "And my foster home. There are 12 of us. Ms. Rodriguez tries her best, but—" She trailed off, looking at her worn shoes. "Today's my birthday. I'm 7. I just wanted to know what it felt like to have a mom for a day." Emma's throat tightened. She should walk away. She had a board meeting in an hour, 3 conference calls scheduled, a merger to finalize. Her life had no room for complications, for emotional entanglements that would only remind her of what she couldn't have. But instead, she heard herself say, "What's your name?" "Lily." The girl's face lit up with hope so pure it was almost painful to witness. "Well, Lily, I have some time today." Emma glanced at her watch, then at the girl's expectant face, and made a decision that would change everything. "What would you like to do?" The transformation in Lily was instantaneous. She grabbed Emma's hand with complete trust, and together they walked into a day that felt stolen from someone else's life. They started at a toy store, where Emma watched Lily press her nose against the glass displays with wonder, asking for nothing but marveling at everything. Emma bought her a stuffed elephant. "Because they never forget the people they love," Lily explained solemnly. They had lunch at a small Italian restaurant where Lily's eyes widened at the size of the pizza, and she carefully asked if she could take half home for the other kids. With each hour, Emma felt something inside her thawing. She'd forgotten how to simply be present, how to find joy in a child's laughter over ice cream, how to slow down and notice the way sunlight caught in autumn leaves. As the afternoon sun began to set, they found themselves in Central Park. Lily ran ahead, her second-hand coat flying behind her, and Emma followed at a walk, her phone buzzing incessantly in her purse. For the first time in years, she ignored it. "Emma." Lily had stopped by the pond, her expression suddenly serious. "Can I tell you a secret?" Emma sat down on the bench, and Lily climbed up beside her. "Of course. I asked 2 other ladies before you. They both said no." Lily's fingers traced the pattern on her necklace. "But when I saw you, you looked like you needed someone too. You had sad eyes, just like me." The observation cut through Emma's defenses. "You're very perceptive for 7. My mommy used to say I had an old soul." Lily held up the necklace, and Emma saw it clearly for the first time. It was a simple silver pendant, heart-shaped and worn smooth with age. But there was something else, an inscription on the back that Lily turned toward her. "Love multiplies when shared. Sarah Chen, 1985. Emma's world tilted on its axis. Her hand flew to her own neck, where an identical necklace had rested for 38 years. The one her mother had given her before. The car accident that took her when Emma was 8. The one she'd lost 5 years ago at a charity gala and had never recovered. Where did you get this? Emma's voice was barely audible. It was my mommy's. She said her friend gave it to her before she died. Made her promise to always remember that love. Multiplies. Lily's eyes filled with tears. My mommy was a nurse. She found it at a hospital event and kept it because the message was so beautiful. She wore it every day until the cancer. Emma's mind reeled. The charity gala had been at a hospital. The necklace had fallen during the event, and somehow, impossibly, it had found its way to a nurse, then to this child. A child who had stopped Emma on the street, who had seen past her expensive clothes and cold, exterior to the loneliness underneath. Lily, Emma said, her voice cracking. My mother's name was Sarah Chen. This was her necklace. I lost it 5 years ago. The two of them stared at each other, understanding dawning slowly. Of all the people in this vast city, on this particular day when both their hearts were breaking, they had found each other. Maybe, Lily whispered, my mommy was meant to keep it safe. Until it could bring us together. Emma pulled the little girl into her arms, both of them crying now. She thought of the adoption papers still in her bag, of the door she'd thought had closed forever. But perhaps it hadn't closed. Perhaps it had simply been waiting to open in a different direction. Lily, Emma said, pulling back to look into those wise, sad eyes. What if you didn't have to go back to the foster home? What if we could be a family? Not just for one day, forever. The hope that bloomed on Lily's face was like watching a flower open to sunlight. You mean it? Really, truly mean it? Really, truly, Emma promised, fastening the necklace around Lily's neck where it belonged. Your mother was right. Love does multiply when shared. And I think our mothers brought us together today because they knew we both needed saving. As they walked out of the park hand in hand, Emma realized that sometimes the things we're searching for find us in the most unexpected ways. She'd spent years building an empire, proving herself in boardrooms, accumulating wealth and success, but none of it mattered as much as this moment. This choice to open her heart to a child who had asked for nothing more than one day of love. 3 months later, when the adoption was finalized, Emma hung a new portrait in her office. Not of herself on magazine covers, but of her and Lily on that first day, laughing over ice cream. The caption underneath read simply, "The day we became a family," and around both their necks, 2 identical silver necklaces caught the light. A reminder that love doesn't just multiply, it finds a way home.